Hi guys, welcome back to Bernie's Life. I'm Bernie and I do videos on medicine, general lifestyle, motivation, the whole shebang. So today's video is going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those medical school videos. I know some of you guys are a bit anxious because it is interview season at the moment. So I thought one best to do this video. I have actually done a video on medical school interviews. I've done it with my other friends. I'll link it somewhere here so you guys can look at that, just because that video has a lot of general tips on the whole interview, how to dress, what resources to use, how to prepare for it. But this particular video is going to mainly focus on some of the questions that you'll be asked in your interview and how best to answer them. So if you guys do want to find out, then just keep on watching. With medical school interviews, I personally don't believe it's all about catching you out and to see whether you're clever enough, because you have to remember all of this has been assessed through your personal statement, your UKCAT exam, and as well as like your school grades or uni grades if you're a graduate. So the purpose of your interview is just to see how you are as a person, and how you relate, how you're able to answer questions. When they ask you a question in a medical interview, it's okay to take your time and answer the question. And what I mean by that is, if someone asks you a question that really catches you off guard, it's okay to either ask them to repeat it or ask them that you're just going to take a minute to think about it. Because all you have to think of is what they're trying to replicate is one of the things that you face in your life as a medical doctor, which is stress and thinking on the spot and having to work through things, problem solving. So when you get a question like that say you haven't prepared for, it's your train of thoughts that they're trying to see. It's your train of thought they're trying to assess. So you taking a step back to say, okay, this is that, this is what I will do. And you being confident in your approach in whatever you're going to do is very important. One of the main questions that you get, or one of the most common and most important questions you get, is why medicine? Personally speaking, I found this question very hard. I still find it quite hard, just because I feel like I particularly don't have a specific reason. I say my reason is probably what everybody else has, so that being, oh, I love science and I love helping people. And I just felt like that wasn't personal enough and it wasn't memorable enough. But honestly, if you're someone that you never had a particular moment or a journey where you realize that medicine is what you want to do. For example, certain students grew up around taking care of like parents, family, friends, or like they themselves had been in a position of needing care and they've just had that spur moment and realized that they want to do medicine, they want to become a doctor. There's also the category of other people like myself that you've just kind of loved the sciences and loved helping people and you just don't have a particular reason. Now, it's not a good idea for you to make up something and start spewing things just because you want your answer to be very personal. If it is that it's science and it's helping people, you can also make that, what I've realized is you can also make that personal about you. So what is it about the sciences that you particularly like? How does that apply to you? And what is it about like helping people that you particularly like? Is it that the interaction you get from it, the joy you get when you've made someone better or made someone's day a little bit better? Do you get what I mean? That way you can make it more personal. If it's very original and it's from the heart, it tends to sound a lot more personal rather than you having to you've written down an essay or paragraph about what you're going to say. I mean, prepare for it, but don't memorize it. Another question that you're most likely going to get is why this medical school? So why Aberdeen? Why Southampton? Why Oxford? Why Cambridge? And the best way that you're going to be able to answer this question is to have gone through the university's website, their modules on how they teach the medical degree, the kind of sports and extracurricular things they do, specific things about that university, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you just go on the webpage. And what even makes it better is if you apply it to you. Things I mentioned for Aberdeen is the opportunity for the remote and rural program. So just because of where we're based, you're allowed to go, or you're given the opportunity to go to rural places and you can like practice medicine there. So that's something I mentioned because I thought that it would improve my skills in terms of communication skills and examination skills without relying not too much on tests and investigations, things like that. So yeah, just definitely have a look at the university's website. If you can, speak to people that you know that have been at that university or are at that university. Apart from the fact that they actually would give you a medical degree, what else is it that this university is going to make a big impact in your life? Other questions you might get is, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. Please don't say you haven't got any weaknesses, because that's just a lie, and that just shows that you haven't reflected properly. Take time to think about it, and obviously when you answer those questions, just say how you're working on improving those weaknesses and how certain things have worked and certain things haven't worked. Just like you're showing that you're actively aware of them and you're doing something about them. Another question you could get is the qualities of a good doctor. It might not be in those specific words, but one way or another, they probably would ask that question. It's the GMC's duties of a good doctor. I probably mentioned that in that video, the other video I said I did with my friends. So have a look at that. Another question I got, which I feel like pertains very well to medicine, is how you deal with stress, because it's inevitable. You will be stressed in medical school. You will be stressed. And I think having an idea of what works for you or what you've tried or what hasn't worked as well. So they could point blank ask you, how do you deal with stress? Or they could give you a scenario and say, this happened, this patient, and then you have family stuff going on and this was happening. How do you deal with that? Another thing I'm going to say is, when at the end of your interview, once they're done asking you all the questions and grilling you, you have to make sure, please make sure you ask a question. Even if it's one question, just make sure you ask something. And try not to ask very obvious questions, because it just shows that you haven't done your research about the medical school. But even if it's something that's on the website but you just found not clear. So say, for example, what I mentioned about the remote and rural program from Aberdeen, how beneficial that has been to like the students, when it started, always been a thing, when did they start it, and did they see any improvements in like the I don't know, the examination scores of students, like what's been the relevance of it and why have they done it, if that makes sense. So just pick certain things and just ask questions, because it just shows that you're actually interested in this medical school rather than I'll just go anywhere. But other than that, I wish all of you guys good luck in your interviews. I'm sure you'll be fine. Please stay calm, breathe, take your time and answer the question. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you've been able to pick up something from this. I hope it's been useful to you. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, or leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any questions for me. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.